Mask indoors and get vaccinated.
The Pete Carroll Show. The first word from the Seahawks head coach every Monday at 9:30 with Mike Salk. Brought to you by Pizza Hut on 710 ESPN Seattle.
Let's jump right into it. Coach Carroll already here. Hi, Coach. Good morning.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, I'm early, man.
Absolutely, as you should be. Heck of a win yesterday. Congratulations. Must have felt good.
Yeah, but you don't sleep any better just because you win, It's still, 5 o'clock. Let's go. And, it was a really good day yesterday, and we need it. The fans needed it, and we earned it. We played really good football yesterday.
Yeah, so what was different?
We just played better. We just played better across the board. The defense has played really good, really hard yesterday, man. They were on their stuff all day long. Very few plays. I mean, there's just a handful of plays that got away from us, and they're just guy just was trying to do something, and he chased the quarterback instead of chase the run, and just little things. So we really have improved, and really excited about that. Gino was spectacular yesterday. Had a great day, and the receivers. You got to look at the whole receiving group. Compare us to what they did. Our guys caught the football all day long and made a bunch of terrific plays for us. So it was really good.
Let's talk about the defense and start there. I know they get you excited, and for good reason. They've played well now for a few weeks. Obviously, last week or this yesterday was nearly a shutout for them. But what's making that unit go? What's allowing them to have that kind of success?
Having just watched the film again here this morning. To see the collective effort and intensity and attention to detail and the toughness, all of those things are all clicking. And we're doing the best job we've done this year in the last month or so about mixing our coverages to just make it harder for our opponent. And it's just worked out really well. The guys are utilizing the changes in the calls and the coverage change-ups to effectively, and we're playing very, very much more aggressive pass defense.
How many coverages can you play over the course of a game?
There's about 6 or 7 things that we do coverage-wise. If and there can be more than that in the subtleties, but it's about 5, 6, 7 things that we basically do.
And are there more things that other teams do, or are those like the 5 or 6 or 7 coverages that everybody runs in the league? It's just a matter of how often you run them and when you run them.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. I mean, I don't have a good answer for you right there. There's, the teams are man teams or teams are zone teams. There's match coverage teams, which is a concept that is really prevalent around the league. The guys will really feature in their game plans. But there's always 3, 4, 5 different things that you do just to complement.
And how much of what those ratios over the course of a game, how much of them are decided because it's where you're most comfortable, and how much are decided by the opponent?
It depends, Mike.
Yeah.
It's not that easy. It depends. We want to do the things that we do really well. That's that we know really well, so that we can adapt to whatever they do to us. If you're just hunting and pecking with calls, then you can't fix things. So we want to be able to fix things as the game goes on. But we have things that we really like and play to. We've got our guys in the right spots. It's kind of like where Jamal is and where Bobby is and where Ugo is in coverage. They do these things really well, and so we want to do those as much as we can because we can make more plays and be more stingy with our pass defense and so on.
Your cornerbacks seem pretty feisty. Are those two feisty guys?
Yeah, they're really competitive guys, man. They're just that way in their makeup, and I like to think that we can help them with that. But I hope we bring it out of them as well. But you like your QBs like that.
What about Darrell Taylor? He returns, obviously great news, just that he's okay, and sort of taking that aside. What does he do for that defense just by being back out on the field?
He had a number of really big-time rushes yesterday, and we could have had 5 or 6 sacks so easily. The quarterback did a nice job of getting hit and getting rid of the ball. He was already hit, but he got rid of the football. A lot of guys might not have chucked it like he did. He takes some chances and almost made some errors. But Darrell in particular, and really Carlos did a really nice job yesterday too. He was really physical in his rushes. That's where Carlos is at his best, when he's just breaking down that edge. And he knocked some balls down, got in the passing lanes, was effective there. Meanwhile, on the other side, Darrell was flashing and speeding around, and he had some great rushes that didn't transfer into sacks and all that, but he had a good day.
Do you grade that? I mean, does that get a grade? Does that get rewarded in some way in the film room with the team, et cetera? How does that get recognized amongst the players?
Well, we do everything we can to recognize the stuff that we're good at, and the stuff, what I'm trying to constantly do, Mike, is I'm trying to show the players who they're playing with, and make sure that I highlight the stuff that guys do so that they get to know and appreciate and trust the guys around them. So whether it's, I'll show highlights from Wednesday's practice and Thursday's practice, the very first thing we do the next morning to show the plays that guys make and show the guys that don't make plays, and so it goes both ways. It's kind of a competitive opportunity for me to highlight guys, but for also guys to show up to kind of always amplify and accentuate how important it is to practice well and all that. But I want these guys to see their guys, and so they know them.
So it's funny you bring up that word trust. We've spent time talking about it, and there's a business book, maybe you've even read it, The Speed of Trust, which talks about how much more successful organizations can be when people trust themselves or trust each other in that organization. What does it do for a
I've
football
not read
team?
that book, but I need to see that because I couldn't be a bigger advocate for that.
It's
that
pretty.
approach.
It's a good book. It's well done, and it comes with like a whole system for business with little cards and stuff that go through all of the trust in business. But what does it do for a football team when guys start to trust each other?
No, it's the essence of the growth that a team can make is when you realize, first it starts with the individual, that you can trust yourself because you've worked hard enough, you've earned your way, you know that you're capable of doing what we're asking of you. You'll flow better and play better, and you'll be more free to play hard and physical and fast when you're in that mentality. When you can feel that exact same feeling about the guy next to you, and then the guys that play on the other side of the ball and all that, that everything is exactly what this book is, I'm sure, is talking about, allows you to function at a much higher level because you're not spending focus time on other things. That anything can take your focus away. Good stuff, bad stuff, fears, concerns, anything. Overjoy, that can all take your focus away. And we're trying to find the sweet spot in between all of that so that we can be really clear and really just in the moment that we're dealing with and fully aware to function like we're most capable. And so that's it's an enormous part of our talk. I also, let me go a little further. It comes from developing a belief that when you believe that you got your act together, you believe that you know you're going to win, is when you function at your very best. To me, and so that's what I'm trying to orchestrate with the individuals, with the coaches, with the whole team, at all times, and try to call on that when you need it most as you finish. That's where it comes into play in the most. Do you function really well down the stretch? That's because you believe and you trust and you got all that stuff together.
Hold on, we got that. We got you. Anyway, hold on.
Cut that out.
Hey, it's a little early in the morning. It works. So that's more on the talked through it there on the defensive side of the ball to start. On the offensive side, we saw the throw from the first touchdown from Geno to DK Metcalf, and afterwards DK says, "Yeah, I'm a big receiver. Trust me to throw that ball up to me." Does it factor in there as well of trusting players to kind of do what they want to do best, and maybe even taking some risks at times in order to allow their strengths to shine?
Absolutely. That's right on point with my brain and how I'm trying to get these guys to perform on come game day. That's exactly what it is. And so we're trying to pull out their strengths. We're trying to accentuate what they do well, try to give them the chance to take their jumper from the top of the key if that's their spot, and with that's the whole point. And when we're doing that consistently, you're hard to beat. You're just hard to beat.
How important was it to get DK and to get Tyler the ball yesterday?
Well, it always is. That's just, that's no rocket science there. Those guys are terrific football players. And yesterday we were really pecking away at them really nice with the drop back game. And Tyler was the recipient of a bunch of plays, some crucial catches and just our effectiveness was there because the timing was so good because all of that fit together so well.
I heard you talk a little bit after the game, and I think fans today are trying to figure out, the difference between the way the team looked yesterday, the way they looked the previous week on Monday night. Obviously, the weather, you mentioned it a couple of times, factors into some of how the game plan is different. Can you walk me through that a little bit in some more detail so we understand how everything just functions so differently from game to game like that?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of stuff going on. We're not playing in a vacuum. We got another team. We got other situations around us. You got the weather. You got conditions and things that can factor in, and you have to just take that into account. That everybody wants it all be real smooth and easy, like it was yesterday, but it's not like that all the time. And we just took on Jacksonville, who's had 3 or 4 really good games in a row, and their most recent win on the road in London and all of that. And they had trouble yesterday with us, and we were able to function across the board at a really good clip, and they factored into that too, and if they're struggling, we should play well. That's the way we always look at it. If a team comes in, they're having problems, and you prepare with the respect that you should prepare with, then you can perform like that. And so we took advantage of that opportunity. But certainly there's stuff that goes on. Mike, there's situations. Think of the situation that we find ourselves in last week with Geno. He's got conditions around him that he's got to take care of the ball. We all know that. He's got a tough team. He's got a good defense. They got a terrific. Look, they just went out and beat the frickin' Bucks, and they were hurt. That's a really good team we played. So all of that factors in. So the games aren't the same. We try to do the same all the time. We try to consistently play at a really high level and really sharp at everything. But it's a great challenge, and so.
Well, I wonder. It strikes me that one of the challenges embedded in that would be planning for things not to be easy, but also trying to make things easy.
Yeah, that's true, and you make a good point. We want to function the way we can function, and so we got to do everything we can to keep us in that mode, whatever that takes, and not allow the other guys to get us out of whack or to throw us into where we start stumbling around, or we're having problems and issues, or we're not communicating right, or whatever. We want to control the factors that we can control, and so that's what you do. That's why you practice so hard and get good at the things that you do. We're getting good right now. We are. We're getting better at what we're doing, and you can see it. The things that have been constant, we've taken care of the football. Special teams is playing great football all year long. They've done a great job. They continue to do that. That just gives us another area that we can count on. Defense is really starting to play on the third down things. That all started to take shape quite a while ago now. But we're playing into those consistencies, and now there's fewer areas where you can get us. And we have a lot of room to improve, and we're going to keep going, but we're getting there. And so it's a good time. I love the break that it's now. We can't do nothing about what's happened, but we're going to do everything we can in the world about what's coming up, and we're going to go for it. It starts when, I guess it's Green Bay coming up.
It was fun watching Alex Collins yesterday. I know he didn't have a tremendous number of yards, but I don't know who said it. Maybe it was you, maybe somebody else who mentioned that there's some Marshawn to him. And he obviously doesn't have quite Marshawn's power. Oh, it was Hasselbeck. Yeah, we were talking about Hasselbeck last week, who mentioned that kind of a Marshawn comp with him. Is there some just almost unpredictability to the way he runs if you're a defender trying to figure out what direction he's going to move next?
Yeah, he's a random type of, out of nowhere he just pops and jumps, and he's got extraordinary experience. I go back to this. Remember, he was a 1,000-yard rusher for 3 straight seasons in the SEC. That's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of carries, not to mention all that he did as he was growing up as a young kid. He plays with intuition and with and savvy that's rare, and so you see him do extraordinary things. He's not the biggest, he's not the fastest, not the strongest. He's just really a good football player, and he shows you all the time. He surprises you with things that he sees and does, and so he's a good ball player.
So what's the plan with Rashad Penny moving forward? How do you unlock him? You talk about putting guys in the best, their best position to succeed. When he's going well, what are the types of plays that you can expect from him?
Well, he's got big plays in him. He's really fast, and when he gets in the clear, he's hard to catch up with, and so we have not been able to spring him. We have not, and some of that he's got to hit the plays right to take advantage of him, and we've got to block him right, and we got to, keep. If you give him enough opportunities, that's going to happen, and so he's in a real competitive mode right now, and it's hard to not want to give the ball to Alex because of all of the stuff he keeps doing. And so Alex has the last 2 weeks has had a groin issue. He's had not been 100%, and so that's even more so while we were rotating. But when we come back from this bye, Alex is going to be raring to go, and so he's going to be hard to knock out of there. He's been really effective.
And I'm just assuming, based on the way you said that things aren't looking any more promising for Chris Carson returning after the bye?
I would take Chris is planning on practicing next week. And so I've visited with him a couple times about this. He's got to be able to, when he comes back from this break, pass a couple little tests and stuff like that. If he can, he's going to practice that week. He plans on playing against the Packers. I don't know if we'll be able to pull that off or not, but we're we're going with that. He's conditioning himself. He's well enough and prepared to jump in 1 week and play if he physically can handle it.
So we saw what the neck injuries and the stingers did to both Cam's career and obviously Cliff Avrill's career. Is this in a different category from that?
It is. It's a different condition that he's dealing with. But when it's a spinal issue, that there's great concerns that we need to uphold and all of that, and do it right and take care of him for the long haul. So that's what we're doing.
There's another injury a few people in Seattle may be curious about, and that would be Russell's finger. Any new update and thoughts? I heard you say yesterday that it was looking better. I saw the picture on TV last night, and I was like, I don't know. Is he going to be able to go in 2 weeks?
His finger does look great now. He couldn't wait to take his little thing off and show me how it looked the other night. But
so the headline from that is going to be Russell Wilson shows Pete Carroll his middle finger. That's going to end up being the headline.
Well, he won't be the first one.
I know, not even on this team publicly.
That's exactly right. He won't be the first, so I'm well prepared for whatever. But we'll hold out hope that he's going to continue to bring this thing back and break the records of all time of how you can get back from this. And if anybody can do it, Russell will do it.
What are the tests for him as you go forward? He's got to be able to grip the football, right?
Yeah, well, he's got to get all the contraptions out of his finger first, and then he's got to heal from that extraction from the pin and all that, and then see where it is and what he's capable of doing. He's going to be really close. Your hand adapts, and he doesn't need all of what it was for him to be effective. I know that, and I got a funky hand myself. I'm a throwing hand, and I just know he'll be able to adapt, but we just need to see if it's safe for him to do that, and in the long-term basis, is it the right thing to do? We'll just figure it out. So
first time in a long time you've played games without Russell Wilson. You've now played 3 of them. What did you learn about your team?
Well, our guys continued to play in the fashion that they needed to give us a chance. We've been in every one of these games. We could have won every one of these games, and we didn't, but we could have, and so that's what we've seen. I think Russ is enough of a factor to win all 3 of those losses, and not just at the end of the game, certainly at the end of the game, but during the course of the game. He's a great football player, and he's a great part of this program, and he would find ways to help us. I can't say that we would have won them all. I don't know that, but we would have had a really good chance, and the teams that played us without Russell were fortunate.
How about the line of scrimmage yesterday, and especially on the offensive side of the ball? It sure seemed like when Geno had time, he was awfully effective.
We were really quick with the football yesterday. I was really fired up about how the rhythm that we were able to throw with. Shane really put the plan together to give Geno a chance to really function quickly, and you saw all of the inside passes that we hit Tyler on, and DK caught a couple, and the rhythm of that is what made that work. And so I think that's when we're at our best, and we always have been, and so we need to continue to strive to stay in that pocket, because that gives us a chance to get the ball out. Pass pro guys don't have to work as long, and we can move the football that way effectively because our guys really can catch it.
How much of a factor was Ethan Posick at center yesterday?
He did a nice job. He did a nice job, and I know he called a good game. He called a really good game. He had some plays that that he needs back that technically, but he played a good, solid football game. Geno felt real comfortable with him, and so we'll see how that fits moving forward.
So what are the specifically with a quarterback and a center, we hear that both guys are responsible for the pass protection in various ways. How does that responsibility get divvied up between them?
They have to identify the alignment of the defense, and between the two of them, they have to figure that out, and they both need to see it in the same fashion. So that's where the coordination is so important. So we're talking about the slightest of elements: the shade of a lineman, the shade of a linebacker, position of a safety. All of those things need to be identified, and then we declare, okay, this is where they are. Here's how we're blocking them.
Mm-hmm.
And so first identify, and then we have to communicate to all of the necessary people what we just saw and what we're doing, and how we click into the mode of what the training has prepared us for. And so that's where that functioning, coordinating, the quickness of it, the confidence and the trust that they have in one another, all of that stuff. And if you watch the game closely, you can see the center pointing all the time. You see linemen, they point and direct. They're trying to get everybody on the same page so that we can be choreographed well.
I think I knew that a lot of that took place on passing plays. We were talking to Matt Hasselbeck this past week, and he was explaining just how much the quarterback was involved in those calls on running plays.
Yes.
And I don't know that had ever really dawned on me before. But
Well, it didn't have to be. But I mean, you can. In the old days, you call a play and you run it. You just call it running. There's still teams that do that a lot. We do some, but there's a lot of plays we have to see where they are, and then we have a choice, and they choose which run to run, and then they also have to connect the blocking scheme through identification with that new play. So there's a lot going on. Russell happens to be really good at this. He's just developed it over the years, and he allows us to function at a fast, high level that gets us an edge, and that's all we're looking for sometimes.
What's the message to the team? They head off for a break and get a little time to themselves to recuperate. What do you tell them on the way out the door? To stay focused on this very next step that we take. That and take everything that's happened, grow from it. We know what happened, but then let's all take this next step together, and that means that everybody's going to do their thing and be held accountable. And we have a chance to have a really good football season, and it doesn't look like that to many people, but we really don't care about anybody on the outside in that regard. We're going to direct our focus based on what we know we can get done, and so here we go. The second half is already underway. Yeah, what is the level of belief in that locker room right now? Pretty good. It's pretty strong. And we have good leadership, we're happy. We've had to deal with disappointment more than anything else, and that's we've had to put that into place so it didn't distract us from the next step we take. And it's been hard because it's been we've been too consistently close, and it's been those are tough lessons. But I think we've hardened from it, and I think we can grow from it. I know we have a chance. We're going to be really healthy coming back, and we're in a good place. Do you have some new leaders that have emerged? I mean, I think we know about Bobby. We know about Russ. Jamal Adams has that reputation. Do you have some guys that maybe we don't know as much about that have risen into some of that leadership role? Yeah, I think maybe our fans would be surprised I don't know, but Ryan Neal has become a real fire starter for us, energy guy. Nick Ballore has been he's subtle in his ways, but he is such a good performer, so consistent that his words are really strong. And Cody Barton has been a big factor too. Penny Hart has been a big factor. These guys are just blood and guts guys, man. I mean, Will Dissly talked to the team the other night about special teams and just brought such a good message to these guys. So there's a host of guys that are part of that. The fabric of the leadership, it's not just the onesie twosies, the guys that get elected. It's the guys that are really in the weeds with it, and I'm really fired up about it because it makes us strong from within. Grandkids for Halloween yesterday? What we? Oh, trick or treat, man! I was on the streets. Were you? Yeah, I had a number of people say, "Gosh, you look like Pete Carroll said." I know it's one of the best disguises. You'd be surprised. It happened, but I'm not kidding. It happened at least 5 or 6 times. Wow, what a great Pete Carroll costume you're wearing. Yeah, wow, that's a great one, man. What did the grandkids go as? We were Mario and Yoshi. Oh, nice. Yeah, great. Very cool. Did you get some full-size candy bars out there? Oh, yeah. Where is this this full-size candy bar? I never heard that phrase before. But as opposed to the Halloween candies, which are like, an inch or two, you get the full size that you would buy at the grocery store. Unfortunately, there was a couple Snickers, and I mean, I'm just not a Snickers guy. Really? Oh, yeah. That's where I instill the dad tax. Yeah, Dad's going to be taking a couple of the Snickers. We take 10% off the top, right off. I don't mind saying I'm a Milk Duds guy. So if Milk Duds? I was. Wow. Well, Justin's he's raising his fist in the other room. He's very excited about the Milk Duds call out. Coach, thank you. Congratulations. Enjoy the bye week. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks. Happy Halloween. See ya. Very cool. There you go. There's Coach Carroll coming off a nice win against Jacksonville, and obviously a lot to get into there, but certainly encouraging and talking about Russell Wilson, and talking about Russell Wilson, and talking about Russell Wilson, and talking